Bhagavate Maya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtake Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shashanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 7, Text 39, where Vidur is putting so many questions to Maitreya Muni. Nimitani cha tasyeha proktani anagasuribihi swato jnanam kuta pumsam bhaktir vairagyam eva vam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Spotless devotees of the Lord have mentioned the source of such knowledge. How could one have knowledge of devotional service and detachment without the help of such devotees? There are many inexperienced persons who advocate self-realization without the help of a spiritual master. Actually, spiritual life begins the first step is accepting a spiritual master, approaching a spiritual master, then putting relevant inquiries, getting initiation. But then there are many people who actually are not trained by a spiritual master, but then they say that, that they are self-realized, and then they can take us also on the liberated platform. So we have to be careful of such people. They decry the necessity of the spiritual master and try themselves to take his place by propagating the theory that a spiritual master is not necessary. So many people say, oh, why need a guru? I just went to the forest, or I went somewhere alone by myself and I got the knowledge by myself. But that's not the way to receive knowledge. We do not just sit down one day and then we get all the knowledge of how to become a doctor and that we can actually cure patients. No, we actually go to a medical school, train under a teacher, train under a professional doctor, then we become a doctor. Same. Spiritual life also is same. We need to get training. Srimad Bhagavatam, however, does not approve this viewpoint. Even the great transcendental scholar Vyasadeva had need of a spiritual master, and under the instruction of his spiritual master Narad, he prepared this sublime literature, Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srila Vyasadeva, although he's compiled all the Vedas and he's recorded the Srimad Bhagavatam, He also has a spiritual master. His spiritual master is Narad Muni. Even Lord Chaitanya, although he's Krishna himself, accepted a spiritual master. Even Lord Krishna accepted a spiritual master, Sandipani Muni, in order to be enlightened. And all the acharyas and saints of the world had spiritual masters. In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna accepted Lord Krishna as his spiritual master, although there was no necessity of such a formal declaration. So in all cases, there is no question about the necessity of accepting a spiritual master. The only stipulation is that the spiritual master should be bona fide. That is, the spiritual master must be in the proper chain of disciplic succession called the Parampara system. So there is no doubt that we all need a spiritual master. Without the spiritual master, we cannot go back home. We will not know how to please Krishna. We will not understand the truth. And then, but now, so who is a spiritual master? Who should we accept? There's so many people who pose themselves as gurus. So how do we know? Then we need to accept a spiritual master who's coming in the Parampara system. It should be in the Parampara system. Why? It's like if we find any box painted red and green and post our letter, the postman is not going to come and pick up our letter, and our letter will not reach its destination. But if we put our letter in a post box which is authorized by the postal system, by the post office, we post our letter there, for sure the receiver will get it. So that's the reason we need to accept a bona fide spiritual master, so that all our efforts will reach Krishna. Suris are great scholars, but they may not always be anaga or spotless. The anaga Suri is one who is a pure devotee of the Lord. So Suri means, Suri is scholar. And the scholar may not always be spotless. There's so many people who are great scholars. They know the Vedas, they know the Vedic hymns, but only a pure devotee is spotless. Those who are not pure devotees of the Lord, or who want to be on an equal level with him, are not anaga Suri. Why only a pure devotee is spotless? Is because then only a pure devotee is not competing with Krishna. He does not want to be God, or he's not envying anyone else for that position. So that's what makes him spotless. Pure devotees have prepared many books of knowledge on the basis of authorized scriptures. Srila Rupa Goswami and his assistants, under the instructions of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, have all written various literatures for the guidance of prospective devotees. And anyone who is very serious about raising himself to the standard of a pure devotee of the Lord must take advantage of those literatures. So the 6 Goswamis have written many Bhakti Shastras. And of course, a very famous book written by Srila Rupa Goswami is the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which Srila Prabhupada, he compiled it as Nectar of Devotion. Bhakti Rasamrita.
We can't hear you, Shilpaji. Is it with
really?
everybody or only me?
We can hear you.
Oh, so I'm sorry, Sheetal, maybe you want to re-enter the meeting or something. So the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is actually very vast, but Srila Prabhupada compiled it in the book called Nectar of Devotion, in which he's put the main points about devotion and devotional service, how to perform devotional service, the different types of devotional service, the effects of devotional service. So these are important literatures so that we can also become pure devotees.
Maybe one day we could go through this.
Nectar of Devotion. Yes, actually, after our Bhagavad Gita on Tuesday, I'm thinking of doing a short, like a short presentation on Nectar of Devotion, on We'll be finishing soon the Bhagavad Gita of Tuesdays, which we read. So if you're interested, you could join in then.
Tuesday afternoon, right?
I can
Oh.
let you know.
Okay.
It's a very essential book, Nectar of
I've
Devotion.
heard about it. Yeah.
So text 40, Etan me prachata prashnan hare karma vivitsaya bruhi me gyas bruhi me agyasya mitratvad ajaya nashta chakshu shaha. My dear sage, I have put all these questions before you with a view to knowing the pastimes of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the friend of all, so kindly describe them for all those who have lost their vision. Vidur put forward many varieties of questions with a view to understanding the principles of transcendental loving service to the Lord. So Vidur wants to understand what is pure devotional service. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 2:41, devotional service to the Lord is one, and the mind of the devotee is not diverted to the many branches of uncertainties. That is the Vyavyasayatmika Buddhi. I'm sorry, excuse me. Vyavyasayatmika Buddhi Ekeha Kuru Nandana Bahushakai Anantasya Vadayo Avyashayinam. That what Krishna says is that those who are fixed, those who have taken up devotional service, their intelligence is fixed. They know that this is the path. They don't need to explore other paths of Gyan, Karma, Yoga. No, devotional service. And then they know that they will reach the destination. Vidur's purpose was to be situated in that service to the Lord, wherein one merges undivertedly. Means he wanted to fix his attention, his full faith in devotional service. He didn't want to think, oh, let me try some Gyan process. Let me try some meditation process. Let me try some Karma Kanda. No, he's clarifying all his doubts so that his faith in devotional service becomes very firm. And then with that firm faith, he can full-heartedly dive into the ocean of bhakti. He claimed the friendship of Maitreya Muni not because he was Maitreya's son, but because Maitreya was actually the friend of all who have lost their spiritual vision due to material influence. So we conditioned souls, we think we are the body. So, and we act according to the body. And that's our vision. So we have lost our true vision. What is our true vision? That I'm eternal spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. And that I belong not here in this material world, but in the spiritual world. And so Vidur is asking Maitreya Muni these questions, not only for him, but even for us. So we can take guidance from such answers. Because Maitreya Muni, he is self-realized. So he has seen the truth. So he can explain the truth. Vidur is saying, I put these questions before you with a view to knowing the pastimes of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Vidur asked so many questions regarding creation. And creation is also a pastime of Krishna. It's not that only Krishna's pastimes are of Vrindavan. Creation is also a pastime of Krishna. It's transcendental because it's Krishna's activity. And for us, it's important to understand the creation, or what is Krishna's position in the creation, how the creation happens, and what is our position in this creation. So we can give up an infatuation thinking that, oh, we are the creators, that we are God, that we are competition to God. And our experience is only in this material things. If we can understand Krishna's pastimes in relation to this material energy, then we will be able to understand his pastimes in relation to the spiritual energy, his Vrindavan pastimes. So that's why the creation is repeatedly stressed in these first 3 cantos. Any questions or comments?
No.
Okay. Text 41. Sarve Vedascha Yagyascha Tapodanani Chanah Jivabhya Pradhanasya Na Kurviran Kalam Api.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes, please.
They said that Maitreya is the son, not because so Maitreya Muni is not the, like Vidur is not the son of Maitreya Muni, right?
No, he's not.
Okay.
Yeah, the clarification was given that Vidur is not, what they said that,
That Vidur is not the son.
yeah, Vidur is Maitreya Muni's disciple.
Okay.
He's his disciple. And so as a disciple puts questions to the spiritual master, Vidur is putting these questions to to Maitreya Muni.
Okay.
And then in that way, he claims friendship, that
Okay.
you are the friend. What does meaning of a friend? Suhrid means somebody who cares about us. So a spiritual master is our best friend, because he's taking us back to Krishna. He's making us understand, hey, you're suffering here. Don't be attached to the sources of misery, you know? So that's what a friend is, who actually cares about us. So in that regard, Vidur is addressing Maitreya Muni as a friend. O spotless one, your answers to all these questions will grant immunity from all material miseries. Such charity is greater than all Vedic charities, sacrifices, penances, etc. The highest perfectional work of charity is to give people in general immunity from the anxieties of material existence. So each of us in this material world has anxiety, has fear. It's not that it's only us. You know, we think, oh, it's only me who has these fears and anxieties, but everyone in this material world has it. It's the nature. It's the nature of this material world. We might think, oh, but the demigods don't have it. Lord Brahma doesn't have it. No, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that everywhere, right from ant to Lord Brahma, this material world is a source of misery. It's a source. Now, we give charity to help people so that their suffering condition can alleviate. So we give somebody we might see is hungry, we want to give them food. Somebody doesn't have clothes, proper clothes, we want to give them clothing. But what is the highest charity we can do? Because we give them some clothes or some the food, it's of course it's needed at that time. It is needed because that's what their requirement is at that time. But what's the highest charity? Is to let them get free permanently, permanent solution to all the anxiety. And this can be done only by performing activities in devotional service to the Lord. We can try many, many ways to get free from the anxiety of this material world. We can try to work very hard, get a lot of money or get a lot of comfort and try to free ourselves of this anxiety, but it will not happen. We can try the Gyan process. That let me get all the knowledge I can. Let me study the Vedas, get all the knowledge. I'm not this body, I'm the soul. And then I will be free from anxiety, but it will still keep us in this material world. Then we can try the yoga process. Let me get some mystic siddhis. With the mystic siddhis, I can do whatever I want. I will have greater level of comfort, but still we will have anxieties. So how can we get rid of anxiety? Only by performing devotional service. And once we come to this point that it's only by devotional service that I can get rid of anxiety, then as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 2.41, then, okay, we've given up all the other doubts. No more distractions. I don't need to go to the Gyan path. I don't need yoga path. I don't need karma path. I will just focus in devotional service. And then for sure, we can transcend this material world. Such knowledge is incomparable. Cultivation of the knowledge in the Vedas, performance of sacrifice, and distribution of munificent charities altogether cannot form even a part of the immunity from the pangs of material existence that is gained from devotional service. So no matter what other pious activities we do, no matter what anything we do, they cannot free us. They cannot give us permanent solution. That's only can be gained by bhakti. The charity of Maitreya not only will help Vidur, but due to its universal nature will deliver all others in all times. Thus, Maitreya is immortal. So the spiritual master lives with his words, through his instructions. Maitreya Muni gave this knowledge to Vidur 5,000 years ago. This knowledge was not only beneficial to Vidur, but it's beneficial for each of us and also for the future generations to come. And so that's the reason that the spiritual master is eternal, because his words are eternal at every time, place, and circumstance. It can deliver us. Deliver means free us from this material world. So text 42. Shishukuvacha sa ittam aprashta purana kalpaha kuru pradhanena I'm sorry. Kuru pradhanena muni pradhanaha pravritta harsho bhagvat kathayam sanchodhitastam prahasan ivaha. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, thus the chief of the sages was always enthusiastic about describing topics regarding the personality of Godhead, began to narrate the descriptive explanation of the Puranas, being so infused by Vidur. He was very much enlivened by speaking on the transcendental activities of the Lord. Great learned sages like Maitreya Muni are always very enthusiastic about describing the transcendental activities of the Lord. Maitreya Muni, being thus invited by Vidur to speak, appeared to be smiling because he actually felt transcendental bliss. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 3rd canto, 7th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Further Inquiries by Vidura. So it is the duty of a spiritual master, when they are put relevant questions, to give the knowledge to the disciple. He must be so expert that he's able to clear all the doubts of the disciple. And so here Maitreya Muni is happy to explain everything to Vidur. I don't know if you all have come across any people, because you put some questions to them, then they'll say, oh, that is beyond your understanding. You will not understand. It's not for you, you know. But then that means they themselves don't know it. They're just brushing off the topic. Because if somebody is expert, they should be able to give that knowledge in a way which can be understood by the person putting the question. So we finished the 7th chapter. And then we have the 8th chapter, Manifestation of Brahma from Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. Were there any questions or comments?
No, all good.
All good?
Yeah.
Okay. So Maitreya Vacha Sat Sevanyo Batapuru Vamsho Yalloka Palo Bhagvat Pradhanaha Babu Vithe Hajita Kirti Malam Pade Pade Nu Tanasya Abhikshanam. The great sage Maitreya Muni said to Vidur, the royal dynasty of King Puru is worthy to serve the pure devotees, because all the descendants of that family are devoted to the personality of Godhead. You are also born in that family, and it is wonderful that because of your attempt, the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are becoming newer and newer at every moment. The great sage Maitreya thanked Vidur and praised him by reference to his family glories. The Puru dynasty was full of devotees of the personality of Godhead and was therefore glorious because they were not attached to impersonal Brahman or to the localized Paramatma, but were directly attached to Bhagwan, the personality of Godhead. They were worthy to render service to the Lord and his pure devotees. Because Vidur was one of the descendants of that family, naturally, he engaged in spreading wide the ever-new glories of the Lord. Maitreya felt happy to have such glorious company as Vidur. He considered the company of Vidur most desirable because such association can accelerate one's dormant propensities for devotional service. So Maitreya is thanking Vidur that you're putting such excellent questions to me. And he's saying that he's glorifying that he's coming from the Puru dynasty. Vidur is coming from Puru dynasty, who are pure devotees of Krishna. They are pure devotees. They are not Gyanis or yogis, but bhaktas. And so he's saying you are fit to render service to Krishna and to the devotees. And also, Maitreya is happy because it's giving him a chance to speak about the glories of the Lord. And then the more a person speaks the glories of the Lord, then their desire to be with the Lord increases more and more, like how Vidur was talking to Uddhav, and then Uddhav was remembering all the pastimes of Krishna. We read that at the beginning of 3rd canto. So devotees want to always experience the ever new glories of the Lord. We might say, but that's the same pastime. I just heard it. How you're saying it's ever new? They relish greater and greater pleasure, deeper and deeper. They are able to, because spiritual bliss is never ending. It's like a deep ocean, never ending ocean. How much you dive in it, you can dive still further in it and experience even more bliss. So they appear fresh. Nava Yovana. Krishna is fresh always, a fresh young boy, very attractive. So his pastimes also like that, fresh and attractive. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So we'll stop here for today. If there are any questions or comments.
I want to just add what you said. Krishna is new every day, like Navam Navam. In the Krishnastakam Stotra by Sri Adi Shankaracharya, he has also said, Dine Dine Navam Navam Namami Nanda Sambhav. Krishna is young every day and new and young every day.
Yeah, thank you for adding that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we can end on that note.
Yeah.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.